So guys, are we live? I think we're live. All right, guys. So it's a little late today on this video, but I want to go over tonight's main event at UFC 278 between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards. And no one, and I do mean no one, is giving Leon Edwards a shot in hell at beating Kamaru Usman. And I was like that initially. Like when this fight first got signed, I was like, yeah, why are we signing this fight? Like Leon's last win was a decision over Nate Diaz, who's a natural lightweight, and he nearly got knocked out at the end of it. Um, that doesn't warrant a title shot. But then again, look at Islam Makhachev. He doesn't have wins over any top 5 guys either, and he's fighting for the belt. We know he's the at least top 2 guy, like we know with Leon. But he's gone 1-0-0-1 since returning. A no contest with Bilal Muhammad obviously would have won that fight. He was piecing him up easily. And then Nate Diaz. Well, this means Leon is relatively unproven in the welterweight division. So let's go over his record really quick, shall we? Because, like, I see why everyone has Kamaru beating him and handily. I really do. Because let's go over his last 5 fights. Okay, his last 5. Donald Cerrone, a lightweight, who had a lot of success with welterweight, mind you, but he's a natural lightweight. Gunnar Nelson in a very close fight. I believe Leon won, but it was a close fight. It was a split decision. Gunnar could have gotten the nod. He was one judge away. Rafael dos Anjos, again, a lightweight, a natural lightweight that had success at welterweight, but he's a fucking lightweight. He was a UFC lightweight champion. So that's good to have a world champion under his belt. But after that, he was forced out of action for nearly 2 years. Comes back to fight Bilal Muhammad and then Nate Diaz. So what I want to say about this, because not giving him a chance is just like you're gonna make people that bet on Leon a lot of money. Because assuming he actually wins. Because there's 2 fights. Actually, there's 3 fights that I want to bring up regarding this. And we're gonna see him here in just a second. Sorry, I didn't plan all this shit out before I went live. Idiot. Okay. So, does anyone remember when a relatively unproven 9-0 Chris Weidman KO'd Anderson Silva and then beat him again in the next fight? Okay. He was 9-0. No one in hell was picking him to win that fight. And he won. Let's see. Holly Holm. Holly Holm was 10-0 going into her fight with Ronda. Actually, no, she was 9-0 going into her fight with Ronda Rousey. She came over with a record of 7-0. She beat Raquel Pennington by a split decision in her debut in a fight she honestly could have lost. Like she fought Raquel later on and beat her easier, but she could have lost this fight. Okay, and she comes back and beats Marion Hanel. She's 2-0 in the UFC, and she fights Ronda Rousey. And I think a lot of us thought maybe Holly Holm had a chance. Before she came to the UFC, a lot of us were saying, yeah, this might be the girl to beat Ronda Rousey. But after just 2 fights in the UFC, none of us thought she was actually ready for it right then. And she was. And there's a third example I'm going to give. Does anyone remember about 2.5 years back when Dominic Reyes fought John Jones for the UFC light heavyweight title? He was 12-0 going into this fight against the greatest ever, right? And his last 2 wins, okay? His last 2 wins, a split decision over Volkan Ozdemir that everyone knows Volkan Ozdemir won, okay? He fucking lost that fight. And then his next one was over Chris Weidman, a middleweight, okay, who has been KO'd in 6 of his last 8 fights. Former middleweight champ, but he's gone 6. What's he gone? 2-6 in his last 8? Getting knocked out in every single loss? Okay, so going up a weight class, 20 pounds, mind you, the biggest weight class jump that exists. And he gets KO'd by Reyes in the first round. No one thought Reyes was ready for a title shot. No one. The same could be said for Thiago Santos, honestly. Or Anthony Smith. But Reyes really brought it to John Jones and gave him all he could handle. Now, his last 2 wins, like I said, over an overblown middleweight who gets knocked out all the time these days, and then a fight he clearly lost. I had no idea how two of the judges thought he beat Volkanovski Jr. because that was fucking bullshit. Um, and yeah, I scored that fight for Dominic Reyes. I know, like, just over half of the MMA fan base, like, I'd say between 60 and 75% of people think Dominic Reyes beat John Jones on that night. No one was picking him to. He is the only one of these three examples that actually didn't get a win on his record over this. But you get the moral of what I'm saying, right? Like Kamaru Usman is 20-1. He hasn't lost since his second fight. He's on a 19 fight win streak. He's got 15 straight wins in the UFC. He only needs one more to tie Anderson Silva. He wins tonight and he ties Anderson Silva for the longest win streak in UFC history. Okay? Like, it's a huge fight. And Leon is undefeated in his last 10, 9, 0, 0 and 1. In his last 10, he should be just 10 and 0 because he fucked Bilal up. I really wish he would have eye poked him in like the fourth round or something instead so we could have seen a decision. Anyways, I'm picking Leon to win. I wouldn't be surprised to see Usman win, of course. He's the number one pound for pound fighter in the world for a reason. But I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised to see Leon outstrike Usman while stuffing most of his takedowns. His grappling and takedown defense and takedown offense have all gotten very good. And he is a straight up technician on the feet. Okay? He is a technician on the feet. And Usman, while he's getting much better on the feet, he's not Leon Edwards on the feet. He's just not. And Leon's not that dangerous. I know that, but he's about as crisp and slick of a striker as we have in the entire sport, let alone in the welterweight division. So that's my pick. I'm gonna pick Leon Edwards to beat Kamaru Usman tonight. And then I assume a trilogy will probably happen. Krishini says have a feeling Leon might become champ, but who knows? Usman's damn strong, you know. Yeah, he really is. He's very strong. It's funny. Leon or Kamaru Usman is one of the very, very few guys that I predicted to become champion that actually did. Like, there was Jose Aldo, I predicted to become champion. I predicted Habib to become champion. Um, Aljamain Sterling, I don't know if I said he would become champion or not, but I knew he had a potential to. Um, but yeah, Kamaru Usman, he's one of those guys that I knew he was going to become champ because even on the Ultimate Fighter 5, coming in with 6 fights, a 5-1 record, as good of a wrestler as he was and as good of an athlete as he was, like I knew he was going to be something special. And he hasn't lost since. Like he went 2-0 in the Ultimate Fighter, 15-0 in the UFC. I think he makes his 6th title defense tonight. I think he has 5 of them. Like that's seriously impressive. But as I mentioned, I'm picking Leon Edwards to win tonight. All right, that wraps up my video. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe to my channel if you like the video. And we'll see you tonight in about 12 hours. Have a good one.